You already know this, but you haven't accepted it yet. Life does not wait for you to feel ready. There is no moment where fear disappears and certainty arrives. That moment does not exist. If you're waiting for clarity before you move, you'll be waiting forever. Every meaningful thing you've ever wanted came with risk attached. Not because you did something wrong, but because that's the price of participating in life. There is no path where you stay comfortable and also become who you want to be. Waiting feels responsible. It feels like you're being careful. But most of the time, waiting is just fear with a better excuse. You tell yourself you're gathering information. You tell yourself you're working on yourself. You tell yourself you're being patient. And sometimes those things are true. But a lot of the time, you're just avoiding the moment where you have to put yourself on the line. Here's the part people don't say clearly enough. Opportunities don't disappear in a dramatic way. No one taps you on the shoulder and says, that was your chance. They just quietly move on to someone else, someone who wasn't more talented, someone who wasn't more prepared, someone who just acted. You don't lose your chances all at once. You lose them one hesitation at a time, and the dangerous part is that nothing bad happens when you hesitate. No alarm goes off. Your life doesn't fall apart. Everything looks the same until years pass. Regret doesn't come from failing. It comes from never finding out. Most people don't look back and wish they had been more careful. They wish they had been braver when it mattered. They wish they had taken the risk when it was uncomfortable but possible. Risk is not something to eliminate. It's something to accept. If you want certainty, stay where you are. If you want growth, you move without it. That doesn't mean being reckless. It means understanding that action always comes before reassurance. You step first, the ground shows up after, and yes, you might fail. But failure teaches you something. Waiting teaches you nothing. Waiting only teaches you how to wait longer. You don't need more time. You need a decision, not a perfect plan, not a guarantee, a decision. Because the cost of action is visible and immediate. The cost of waiting is invisible and permanent. Someone else is doing the thing you keep thinking about. Not because they're better than you, but because they stopped asking themselves if they were ready. This isn't about pressure, it's about honesty. If you keep waiting, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, this feeling you have right now doesn't go away. It hardens. So don't make this complicated. Pick the thing you keep returning to in your mind, the one that won't leave you alone, the one you keep postponing, and move toward it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel confident. Now. Because the window doesn't close loudly, it just closes. And one day you notice you're on the outside. That's it. There's another truth people avoid because it's uncomfortable. You don't actually get unlimited chances. We like to say you do. It sounds hopeful. It sounds kind. But in real life, timing matters. Energy matters. Access matters. Certain doors only open when you're at a specific age, in a specific place, with a specific level of hunger. Miss that window, and the opportunity doesn't come back in the same form. That doesn't mean your life is over. It means the cost of entry just went up. What could have been built with momentum now has to be built with effort. What could have been explored casually now requires sacrifice. And most people feel that shift, but never name it. They just tell themselves they changed or grew out of it. A lot of the time, they didn't grow out of it. They hesitated past it. Another thing no one tells you, your tolerance for risk shrinks the longer you avoid it. When you're younger or earlier in a phase, You can take hits and recover fast. Fewer responsibilities, fewer people depending on you, less to protect. But every year you spend playing it safe, your life fills up with reasons not to move, more obligations, more comfort, more fear of disruption. So the irony is this: the longer you wait to take a risk, the harder it becomes to take one at all. That's why people say, I could never do that now, about things they once wanted badly, not because it was unrealistic, but because they trained themselves not to move. There's also the identity cost of waiting. Every time you think about acting and don't, you're teaching yourself something about who you are. You're reinforcing the idea that you're the kind of person who thinks, analyzes, waits, and watches, and identity sticks. It's not that you suddenly wake up one day unable to act, it's that you slowly convince yourself that action just isn't you. That's a dangerous story to believe because the people you admire didn't feel different inside. They just crossed the line between thought and movement more often than you did. This isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about respect for time, your time specifically. Every day you delay something meaningful, you're spending time without getting anything in return. No growth, no clarity, no progress, just familiarity. And familiarity is comfortable until it becomes a cage. So if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, but my situation is different, maybe it is. But hesitation sounds the same in every situation. It always says, not yet. And life always responds the same way. It keeps going. So here's the point: stripped all the way down, if something matters to you enough that it keeps coming back, that's not random. That's a signal. Ignore it long enough, and it stops showing up. Not because you solved it, but because you taught yourself to tune it out. Don't do that. You don't need to know how it ends. You just need to start. Because the only thing worse than failing is realizing you never entered the game at all. If you're new here, please make sure to like and subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.